So
Could you?
let me introduce you to John Hammond, who I've worked with for God 5 years. How long have we been working together trying to get this thing made?
Since 2016.
Seven, 7 bloody years.
Yeah, bro.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
It takes that long sometimes, guys. It takes a long time to get it right because this is, as you know, John, this is the last time you're going to do this.
Oh, yes.
And
This
it
is
better
the
damn well be right.
yeah, first,
You
last, and
know,
only time I'm doing this.
yeah.
Sorry,
No,
go
I've,
on.
no, I've gone through several versions of his studio as I have learned stuff, as we have done lab testing and testing materials and finding out what works the best. I've modified treatment plans and things are just it's as it should be. There's nothing set in science or should be nothing should be set in studio design because it is a science. It's the physics of acoustics, and it should be evolving. We should always try to do better the next job. That's how I look at it anyway. Try to make it better. So
Good advice.
anyway, we were going to talk about your experiences with trying to DIY things and with contractors, and I'll let you hit it off, John.
Well, where should I start? At the beginning, right?
I suppose.
Right.
You can start in the middle, though. It's okay. A lot of books start in the middle, and then you get flashbacks.
Right. That might happen. I do tend to jump around, so forgive me. I'll try to be,
Yeah, no
short and
problem.
concise with you. The short version is as someone who never been into construction or built a building or owned a piece of land to have a building construction on, because my build was from the ground up. I didn't. We started initially in another building, and I mean, politics and other such nonsense, and that fell through, right? So we wasted 2 years basically and $50,000. But that's the pitfalls of doing business with family. Don't do it. There you go.
But
You want the
when you
first piece of advice? Don't do business with family. Just don't do
Well,
it.
yeah, if it's like you're going into business or partnership, or you're loaning money. If you
Mm,
when you loan money, expect never to get it back, and you'll be cool. But
yeah, fair.
usually, even with family or whatever, if you loan money and they don't pay it back, you don't ever talk to them again.
This ain't even about
That's
the loan of money. This is like ownership politics.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
just some real, stuff that doesn't matter, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
I walked away from that situation.
It's a sad
But
reality of human nature. So yeah.
it is, it is what it is. And so anyways, not to be deterred too damn long, I was like, I'm gonna build something on my property. So
Yeah.
the first step is, you have to, at least where I live, you have to go to the county and be like, hey, can I even build this on my property? You have to go ask, and they're like, they won't help you either. If you don't know what you're looking for and you walk into your county building, they're just gonna be like, okay, good luck. Like, they will not help you. You have to actively tell them what you need. Like,
Right.
you have to say, I'm going to build a building on my property. And they're going to say, well, what's your property? Who owns it? You have to have all of that. You have to have
Mm.
the deed, any of that stuff. You have to go down, and they're going to they're basically going to work through the rhythm with you, and you have to jump through their hoops. That they might have to have, if your land has never been surveyed or hasn't been recently surveyed up to their standards, they might have to send someone out to come plot your land.
Hmm.
That's just the very first step of the process. That's before I can even put a shovel in the ground out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Um, and that's I mean, there's so many things involved in building a building from the ground up. I never in my life expected to build a building from the ground up. Like I mentioned that a moment ago, but like that was never something I intended to do, like ever. So this is all brand new to me. I have no idea what I'm doing. And I can tell you, I know what I'm doing now. I know who to look for. I know who to look out for also. The best advice I can give you: don't work with family. Don't hire friends. Even if they're in the trade that you're looking for, don't hire them. Just don't do it. Hire their competition. And here's why. Because if you hire your friend, they're unless they are an absolute pinnacle of I wear myself on my chest, there's a good chance you're going to be unhappy with the results.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's the absolute truth. And it's
Friends
unfortunate.
expect something different, you
Yeah,
know, and they
exactly.
expect that you expect something different,
Indeed. They, you know,
So it's one of those things. Again, back to the frail human nature that we have. It's
it is. And these people aren't doing it to be malicious. You know what I mean? It's just,
no,
it's just the way things go
no,
sometimes.
it
You know
always
what I mean?
comes around to, well,
Right.
I thought, and that's where it all goes wrong. But
Yeah.
if you're working with a contractor and you have a contract and you have terms and you have, I need it this and this and this and this, and they sign it and they say, okay, yeah, we can do that. And if they don't, you say, dude, you want to get paid, do the job.
Yes, sir.
And with a friend, you lose your friend if you do that.
Right.
So I mean,
You're not wrong.
so
You are not wrong. So like, I mean, this, it's basic stuff. It's basic real world common sense things, but you know, doing it DIY, like most of us, I don't have a couple $100,000 to just light on fire to set everything in motion at once. I don't have that kind of capital. I don't suspect many other people do either.
right.
Um, and so this for me got pieced together piece by piece,
Yeah.
and we so after sorry, like I said, I'll jump around a little bit too. So after
Okay.
after
That's
we got
okay.
the thing situated with oh, I can build on my land, great, thanks Uncle Sam. um then it's a whole matter of okay, now I need concrete. Oh well, concrete is XYZ a square foot. I don't know if that's a good price or not, so I immediately hit somebody up. Hey, yo, do you know anyone who does concrete? Oh yeah, I got a buddy who does concrete. They come out and do the concrete. The concrete looks like it's just awful. It looks terrible. It doesn't look good at all. It's a slop
Hmm.
job, and it's embarrassing to look at. But it's going to be buried under a bunch of floor and other such things. So yeah, that's the silver lining, right? The flooring guys are going to take care of the bad concrete. It's always the
Oh
next guy,
boy. Yeah, it's like pay me now or pay me later. That's how
right?
it always works out that way. So if you're skimping on one side, you're going to pay a lot more on the other side. So
He's Mr. Brandt is correct. Pay one time, pay once, cry once.
yeah,
Just do it. It's worth it. It is worth it to find to put the effort in to find someone who's interested in your project, who understands your project. That's a big one, especially working with Mr. Brandt's drawings. A lot of people are intimidated by them. Your typical contractor, your typical run of the mill, I built 600 bathrooms. I know exactly what I'm doing. Okay, great. They're going to see that, they're going to look at it, and they're going to go, everything's double walled. So they immediately jack the price up. It's the first thing that they do. They're gonna immediately be like, well, that's a hell of a lot of labor, and it just dollar signs. That's the first thing that happens. So do yourselves a favor. I thought about this today when I was traveling, and I wanted to talk about this specifically. When you go to piecing together each part of your project, don't give them the whole picture. Don't tell them what they're doing. Hire some really good framing guys to come out there and frame that damn thing. Don't, you know what I mean? Find some framers. Find people that is their job. Like that is what they do. Everything will be plumb and even. And if you go into mine right now, there, there ain't a straight wall in that place. Not a straight wall. Couldn't point one out, man. You go in there with a right angle, good luck. No chance. You know. So
Honestly, even in the high end best jobs that you can get done,
yeah.
the corners are not 90 degrees. Look,
Touche.
I brag about jobs I've done before. I mean, we did this huge uh, log home in Montana way back in 96, 97. No, it was 97. And when I put the tape measure on the foundation, it was a basement and then foundation come up and then a floor, and that was poured on top of that. It was a poured floor on top of the basement. It's quite involved. But once we got the walls up of the basement and I pulled it corner to corner, I was 1/8 of an inch off a square. And I thought, whoa, I almost broke my arm, But,
All right.
it's rare. It's rare you can get it like that.
See,
So,
that just goes to explain my ignorance when it comes to construction. See, that sounds like something that I would be like, is that a livable mistake? Like in the construction world. I don't know what the rules are.
yeah, yeah,
Again, that's my ignorance. I'm not construction savvy. I had no idea what this entails. This is something I've never thought through in my life, to be honest with you. When I thought about doing this, it was like, well, I can finance it and I'll just pay someone else to hold the reins, and that just bit me in the ass. Is all it
yeah,
did.
yeah,
Is literally all it did.
yeah. When you
It's
build,
I
yeah, I
shouldn't put
just
yeah.
want to tell people that when you build, it's
Yeah.
you really have to pay attention to detail, and you have to put all your effort into making sure things are plumb and square. If they're a little tiny off, hey, don't worry about it. Don't take the wall down. It's okay, but do your best, and it's okay. No room is perfect, and I've heard that from designers who have got complaints on their rooms, and they'll say no
Yes.
room is perfect. I'll never say that to somebody who has a complaint on one of my designs. I'll say, well, what's going on? Let's fix it. That's
Sure.
my attitude. But
Speaking of which,
again, for your sake, for personally, I built this. Well, no room is perfect, and it's true. You go check any house. You put a square in the corner and a level on the walls. It's not going to be perfect.
fair enough, sir. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And I would like to say, I want to commend Mr. Brandt here. This man has rolled with the punches with this project numerous times. So thank you again for just being gracious enough to give me your time.
Oh man.
I know it's valuable, so thank you.
John, it's my commitment to you guys,
Yeah.
and it doesn't matter, folks. As I've worked with John for 7 years now, this is my commitment. When you hire me for a job, well, we see it through until it's done, unless I'm dead.
God damn it. I was saying something to Lauren about that the other day. I was like, man, I really hope none of these guys die before this shit gets done.
That's right.
I love you. Oh man.
Thank you.
Okay. So speaking of that, so who to look for when you're looking for someone to do your jobs?
Hmm.
The people you want to look for are people who are enthusiastic about what you are doing. The only person other than everyone and their mother who wants to help me, oh, hell, I'll trade work for work. And, yeah, great. You know, the only person who's been enthusiastic about this is the guy, the cabinet maker, the 70-year-old gentleman from Michigan that I met via a friend of a friend of a neighbor's kid's birthday party, who is a cabinet maker. And
Marvelous.
he was it was a wild connection, and I showed him the plans, And it was like, he was like, "What is this?" I've never seen anything like this. And then he like looked at it a little closer and he was like, "Oh, this is interesting. I want to build this." And then this guy started bugging me. He's like, "Hey, can I come out there tomorrow? Hey, are you home?" And I'm like,
That's
"What the
beautiful.
hell?" Like I'm like, "No, I'm not home." And he's like, "Well, I can like wait a little bit. Will you be here soon?" I'm like, "Dude, okay, great." But that's the person you want on your team, though.
Yeah.
That guy's enthusiasm is through the roof.
It's
And
it's all about a vested interest, One,
yes,
they're going to learn something, they're excited about it. And two, they're honorable people and they will be loyal to you and their agreements and all that kind of stuff. That's the kind of people you want to look
yeah.
for. Yeah.
Yeah. Someone who's genuinely interested in doing your job, because this guy's never mentioned money to me yet, ever, by the way. The only thing he's mentioned to me is like a repayment for printing the plans. And again, he's an old man, but he's also not John Brandt smart. So, you know what I mean? He's working off analog plans, as it were.
No
Um,
problem. No, that's the way they should do it. Anybody, listen,
yeah.
whoever, if you get plans from me or any other designer, you should print them out full size of however they're printed. They're supposed to be printed. They usually be a long roll, be a blueprint, big old thing you put on the table, and you can actually put a ruler on and measure something that isn't detailed in the drawing. How far is that? You can measure it and do the scale. You should have drawings like that, so that they should have drawings like that so they can work.
Yeah. No, that's very good advice. Very good advice. And yeah, like, so my guy's doing at first he was like, he was super hyped about it because he thought it was like this super in-depth interesting thing. And then he had some questions for Mr. Brandt, and when Mr. Brandt broke it down after the phone call, my builder goes, "This isn't really that complicated. It's a bunch of frames with fabric." And he was a little disappointed. Like, you could hear it in his voice, you know what I mean? Like, he thought it was going to be like super 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 intense. So what I'm saying is if you find someone who's worth their salt, if you find someone who's worth their salt, forgive me, you won't have a problem having anything that Mr. Brandt throws at you taken care of. The thing that I ran into the most with every carpenter that I approached about all of this is they see those multi-tiered diffusers and panic happens.
Yeah.
They see sand-filled doors. Panic happens. Why the hell does this door need to be 700 pounds? My buddy installs doors at the hospital and it's dead silent. Well, that's dead silent for them. That's not dead silent for this room. Like, those people don't understand. Here's another tip when it comes to your door guys. Those people don't understand exactly how silent these rooms are going to be. They literally do not grasp the concept.
Yeah.
So you have to drive it home. Like, I've had numerous people argue with me about uh, whatever. You know what I mean? I'm like, "Hey man, follow the plans." Why? Just follow the plans. Why? I don't need to tell you why. Just follow the plans. Like,
Yeah, it's the deal. It's the contract. If you can't do that, then fine, I'll find somebody else. That's the way really you
exactly.
gotta do. You gotta, you know.
No, that was me talking to a contractor preliminarily. Like,
Mm,
this door veteran guy was arguing with me tooth and nail about the validity of needing to use that much mass on that door. And you're gonna run into that. You will run into people who look at John's drawings and other such, other little bits of kit in the treatment folders, and they're not gonna understand it, and so therefore it's gonna seem irrelevant to them. Like, it's
yeah,
gonna it's gonna seem like it's not that, you know what I mean? For someone who doesn't actually, forgive me, uh, for someone who doesn't actually, have a horse in the race, as it were, their vested interest is, well, I want your money. They don't give a
yeah.
shit about your studio. They just want
How
the job.
quick can I do this for
Yeah,
what I'm getting? Yeah.
exactly. These people, no offense, and I'm not dogging anyone who's watching this who worked on my project, because I'm sure one or two of you are crying in your Cheerios right now. Sorry, do a better job. I don't know what to tell you. Like that's the short answer.
Yeah.
Next,
Yeah.
like be more accountable. If you
And,
want to,
and for those who failed in the past, it's the best teacher. Keep going.
oh,
Don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. Just, it doesn't matter how many times you're knocked down. It's how many times you get up.
he's not
So yeah,
wrong because mine's going to be now at this rate. Mine will be completed probably by May. And that's I'm being optimistic, right? But things are
can be
moving
done.
forward.
Definitely can
It
be done.
can be done. Mine's at a spot right now that the treatment needs completed. That the rest of the goodness gracious the oh my goodness the audio lines. All the audio lines are ran. They're just not wired. You know what I mean? Like so the lines are ran. It's all labeled and all that stuff. Like everything's ready. The panels and everything are out there. Like I've got all that squared up. We're just waiting on the treatment to go in and we can link all that stuff where it needs to go. The
Right.
glass is in there. The HVAC is going to be the monster, and that's the thing that we as in me and Mr. Brandt need to brainstorm on. I'm throwing this in his lap. Surprise! We got to figure this out. We have to come up with a more, no offense, American cost effective way to get this done because all those every HVAC person I've hit up with these the mini splits the slim duct mini splits is what you know
It's a ceiling concealed unit. Yeah, well, that's
right
ducted ceiling
it's
concealed.
right so
It's
anyone who actually wants to Google what he's talking about the thing that you're looking for is called a slim duct mini split. Google
okay.
it. But right sorry to be rude about it's more so I want people to know what the hell they're looking at.
Good
Because
deal.
that
Good
was
deal.
one of those things. I won't lie to you. I didn't know how to phrase that when I was looking for it. Like I'm looking for things like on John's treatment, for instance. Like you go in there and click on the thing and it pulls it up and you're like, oh, this is the reference. So you go look at it and you're like, okay, great. And then you go, okay, I'm shopping for this. Oh, it's only available in Europe. Oh, and it was discontinued 10 years ago. Well, great. No offense. That happened a couple times.
Something like that is okay. Okay,
But see, look,
something
but see,
like it.
and that's
When
fair. Something like
yeah,
that. In his
when I
defense,
put panels in your room, for
yeah,
instance, you'll have two rack spaces of mic out, connectors. Okay, below that you'll have some outlets. You have four of them maybe.
yeah,
You
yeah,
don't need four. Maybe you just need one or two. Just put that many in. It does. This is just like a placeholder. Okay, doesn't mean you
yeah.
have to do that. I got another client that wants to put three rack spaces. Three spaces of connectors. Great, fine. It's less room for the outlets, but that's over there in Bali. So the outlets are little square things. So that
Oh,
can go
sure, sure.
smaller. No big deal. It's just a placeholder. So yeah.
So now here's my question with that though, with the placeholder, but in the HVAC world, we have to count on the BTUs, and that's a whole different
You
thing,
do.
man.
Yes, sir, you do.
Like
Mm-hmm.
that's we what did we end up with mine? Mine has to be like 3600 BTU or something that's like that between all of the rooms.
Here's an idea. Okay.
Mm.
Ideally, you should have everything forced air so that you can duct it, you can baffle it. It's extremely quiet. It can meet the NR10 criteria. If you can't do that, just get an ERV, energy recovery ventilator. And so you have these little lines coming into each room that just give fresh air, exchange the air. That's all you want. And then you can put some nice quiet mini splits in there. Trust me, they're noisy. All of them
Yeah,
are.
yeah, yeah.
So
No,
you'll have to deal with that.
sure.
And
No,
man, if you're doing metal, don't worry about it.
no, I don't
But if
want to
you're
do metal.
recording a harp, an acoustic harp, or some
Yeah,
kind of finger style
yeah,
of Spanish guitar, yeah, you're
yeah.
gonna have to turn it off to record.
Yeah, okay. See, that's I those are things that I didn't know. You know what I mean? Like again, those are things that like when I think of a silent ducting system as someone who doesn't know shit from anything about HVAC, or how to make those things quiet. Oh, you know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
think like, okay, so when this is done, it'll be like silent, like I will not hear it. You know what I mean? But now it's like, okay, so there will be noise, but I have to turn it off, huh? If I'm doing harps or
Maybe.
something, maybe.
Depends, you know.
Okay,
But
because the room's
what's
gonna be
very
silent.
important, what's very important, John, and everyone listening, is that you have ventilation, fresh air. Because studios are not places where you can, oh, let's just open the window, get some fresh air. No, not going to happen. You open the door, you know, well, you can work with the door open, but you know, if it's one door and no window for cross flow, you're not going to get much ventilation in there anyway.
Yes,
And
sir.
so you got to have some active ventilation. You need 15 cubic feet per minute per person minimum.
Yeah.
And you know, most of these little ventilators are like 120 cubic feet per minute. Okay. And you only need 15 per person. So, you know, even a little one will usually do a fairly large room for quite a few people. Okay. So 69, that's six, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's about 10 to 12 people it'll handle. Just 120 CFM ventilator.
That's pretty cool. Then maybe we should reassess my current HVAC.
Sure. Yeah. Well,
Let's
that's
do it.
I'm here for you whenever you want to have a meeting
Yeah,
about that. We can
my
go over
man.
that.
Yes, we shall. Because that's after, you know, once the building is done, that's the last step, and then I can actually stand in the thing and turn it on.
Yeah.
That'd be
Yeah.
great. But no, seriously, thank you, John, for being so kind to just forever roll with the punches with this, man. Like seriously,
That is
you're
the rule. That's the rule. You
yeah.
got to roll with the punches. You know, there's reality and there's ideal. When I design a studio, it's the best it can be. If you can do that, if you can't do that, okay, we have this option. It's going to be noisier, or it's going to whatever. The soundproofing is not going to work as well, or whatever, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The acoustics I usually don't compromise on. I try to give you the best sound in the room as possible. Other than that, we got, you know, options.
Dude, it's great stuff. It's great stuff.
Great.
And I, as far as I don't have anything really to add other than, you know, thanks for the opportunity to talk about this. And you know, I for anyone listening, just just be kind to yourself and be kind to your friends. But remember, at the end of the day, you're doing this for your reasons. You know what I mean? So as long as you're happy, good luck.
Great. Thank you, John.
No sweat. Have a good night.